I'd like to call the Monday, September 11th, Tree Advisory Commission meeting to order. Do we have approval of the minutes? Got a motion to get.
I'll second.
All right, we're open for public comment. You can speak from your seat if you'd like.
Can I start then? I'm on the agenda for tree trimming. I understand that, should I stand or am I?
No, you're fine.
Someone came, I was on vacation, someone stopped by the house, I thought it was from the tree commission, my neighbor was saying that they had stopped and looked at my tree. And thought that they wanted to take it out. She said, well, you better not do anything because he's on vacation, so I don't know. I live at 130 East Third Street, my name is William Bless.
Yeah.
And I had an application for trimming, so I don't know if you guys had, talked about it and decided to maybe remove the tree, but my initial concern was when they were working on Third Street with the, putting the new lines in the street. They rubbed against my tree and I had about 4 branches that were just snapped off, broken off, and they're brown.
Yeah.
The tree has only been there a few years, so it's not a real large tree, but it extends out into the roadway quite a bit. So every mail truck, every big truck wants to take a piece of it. And it's unfortunate, but since I decided I thought it needed to be trimmed because of the branches, I thought it would kill it. But I noticed, one of my other neighbors mentioned that it has these thorns on it, which to me are really, he pointed out that I didn't realize it, but the branches are so low. If you have a child or somebody riding a bike come by, these things are dangerous. So after I thought about all this, I thought maybe it is best to take the tree out.
It's a healthy tree.
It's a help, well, it's not gonna be healthy if these keep trying to carry branches.
Well, but the thing is, we might be better off trimming.
The low hanging.
Which we've done that a couple of times to just get it out of the traffic.
It's a pretty tree. I mean, I like it, but these things are, I'm really concerned now with somebody poking themselves in the eye with this. And I'm starting to think now it might be more of a liability than not, but if you trim it, I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm here. So you guys are the experts. It's
You will be around tomorrow?
Should be.
Can I come over and take a look at it?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I'm questioning now if this type of tree is a good street tree because of
Do you know what type of tree it is?
it's a winterberry, it's a hawthorn.
It's Winter King Hawthorne.
Winter king hawthorn. Okay,
It's not on our list.
not on your list.
It's not on a approved list. So it was done maybe by the previous owner or.
No. It was done through the tree commission. Someone from the tree commission. I won't mention names, but they helped me choose it. It's not, like I said, it's only been there a few years. It's not like it's been there for a long time. Like I said, I like the tree.
Would you say it's a winterberry?
Winter King Hawthorne.
You know of the tree, you know what's that, man?
No, I just know trees.
I just thought maybe you knew the location.
Well, why don't you, Scott will come over.
Sure.
You guys can look at it. We'll look at it as well.
I'll give you my phone, maybe give me a call when you're coming by.
We
Make
have
sure
your
I'm there.
application. We'll be going through the applications tonight.
Right.
So as when we get to that, if we have any more, if you're still around, if you have any more questions, we can address that.
And this will tell us if it's healthy and everything else, so.
Yeah.
The program.
Every year it gets a little bit mite. It just seems like it's susceptible to mites every year, and it's kind of bad this year, I think.
Any other comments? All right, we have 13 applications to look at, so.
Looks like he's-
I'm not sure why we have all this.
Unless he's. It's pretty good, a lot of it done.
Is there a Chip Patterson here? So we have a relisted application, MSC 216 Chestnut. We don't have any paperwork on it.
Not in the packet.
I believe that's I just went through, someone redid all the bricks on Chestnut Street. And I believe that property is in that area. I'm not sure if it's one of them. But I believe from what I can remember that they had a tree taken out and they're requesting a new tree. I don't see the application. And it has no application number. But I know from talking to Ron that was on the list for a new tree for this fall. Unless anybody else knows anything more about that?
What is it?
So it's the first number one relisted application, 216 Chestnut. And I believe, I don't know why we don't have a copy of the application. I believe that is a request for a new tree. I don't see it on, it wasn't on June's agenda. All right, we'll have to look into that.
I'll go look at it again.
I see,
Yeah,
I wrote a note of it.
yeah,
I think Ron said he wanted to plant about 6 or 8 ginkgo trees in a row down,
right on Chestnut.
right, and keep that row going on, so I think maybe a chestnut is what he was, or a ginkgo is what he was thinking.
They didn't tell you what he looked like or anything? Or his name? I mean, it's
207 chestnut is what
Nothing.
I wrote,
207.
yeah,
It's
so this could be a different, could be a new app.
All right, well, we're gonna have to look into this, put a question mark by that. I'll talk to Ron, see what he remembers.
Maybe Kathy knows something when she comes back.
Yeah, should we hold up the meeting until she returns?
Oh, no, maybe just circle back if we have to. We circle back to that when she comes back.
All right, application number 2, application 2022-20, Irene Biggs, planting permit. This is this was from a couple years ago. Well, no, actually from last year. Irene has requested a new tree in front of her house. Also on the list of new trees to be planted this fall. So all we need is approval to go ahead with the, I know that Ron was talking about in that area on 6th Street, he's looking at 3 different sites, but this would at least give Irene her tree if we would, vote for approval for tonight. That's for, there's a picture photo in here. You can see it's there. There are no trees from the corner all the way up to the telephone pole. And Ron's looking at possibly putting in 3 trees in that area, but we'll, we'll vote for the one for
I
Irene.
make a motion to,
Yes, please.
to, put a tree in there.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's approved. Now, the timing will have to be something that we discuss. Norman, what's a good time to plant trees in the fall? We have to wait later in fall?
Depends upon the temperature, but October.
Yeah. Put a question mark of October for that. All right. Moving on. This is 2022-20. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 2022-23. Yeah. Hey, do we need to back up and tell you what happened?
I've got on the recording.
Oh, very good.
Well, we had a question about an application that we don't see in our packet for 216 Chestnut Street.
I don't think that the old applications are in there at all.
Okay. Okay,
I didn't see them myself.
There are a couple in here,
A couple.
you know, so.
Okay.
We're gonna look through, I believe that's a request for a new tree, because we took out trees down that area. They have recently re-bricked it, and I think they now want a new tree, so. All right, we will look into that one. So then we have, 2022-23, Kimberly, and the pronunciation. And this is you?
that's me.
Oh, very nice to meet you. And you're requesting 2 trees in front of your house, sycamores, and you're requesting them to be trimmed.
Yes, I submitted the application last October,
Wow.
and I read back on the minutes and it just said that they were gonna have MSC look at it. We don't think MSC looked at it. Because it doesn't appear to have anything trimmed.
Right.
Our request is to save the tree and not do the big U shape they do when they do it. Because down the street from us, what they've done, because the trees are so large, they've cut all the limbs from the wires below, so the wires can go below it. And we're hoping that they can do that and keep the integrity of the tree and the. and the
We've
tree
done
of the
it,
tree.
we've done a couple of them,
Mhm.
and we, if it depending on where it is and what's going on.
Mhm.
They had, it wasn't them that did it, we actually did it through the city.
Okay, yeah,
And,
that's our preference.
They contacted me first, I went over there, met with the guy and we arranged how it was gonna happen, and it came out good, and everybody was happy.
Yeah, and they're hanging out in the street right now, so we'd like to have that on the list to have it cleaned, please.
Here, and that's something that you guys can look at?
I think so, with your direction, when they go out there to do it, I think they were out there once, has been going on for a while. And I was out there at one point, I took some photographs that appeared.
I was out there too one
Right,
time.
it appeared I don't remember.
I
which
think we
meeting.
were out there the same time we set up that one on Third.
Right, and
right?
I'm not sure if all the wires were MSC, they may have been lower cable and
Right.
phone wires that were running through also. But I took pictures, the pictures that you have
Yeah.
attached with this application.
Mhm.
Are pretty recent, probably within the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks. It does need to be treated, both of them.
Do you wanna,
Can we approve it for trimming?
Approve it and.
Based
then
on
just set up a
MSD?
meeting, go out there and then one of you guys can supervise how you want it done.
Right.
When can we expect it to be trimmed? Cause I submitted last October and.
Yeah.
Unfortunately I had to follow up now. So is it like in 2 months or 3 months or by the end
It's
of the
gonna
year?
depend on the availability of the city.
I can't answer
Yeah.
that. at this
So-
moment.
So when should I follow up? I just don't want it to fall through the cracks
No,
again.
we'll
No,
have-
please don't. And, yeah, if you don't hear anything within the month, contact us again.
Okay.
let's put it this way, we're gonna be out there probably in the next few days or a week
Certainly to go out.
to
and
inspect
have
it,
Public Works take a look.
and we'll
Okay.
we'll talk about what needs to be done. And then, because when they came out and trimmed, I was there.
Okay, no, wait.
Not yours.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm saying the ones that we've done,
Yes,
I've been there.
you know the tree I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so if I don't hear something in the next month, I'll.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, thank you.
Can we get a motion to approve an inspection and by the MSC city and city folks and then approve the trimming?
Motion as stated, I will submit.
Can we do, is that a decent enough motion? We need to remove that. No. There you go. Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I,
All right, so we're going to move forward with that one. All right, now on to new business, new application. We have application 2023-11, Sheila Fannin. So we have the core sample area, you included some estimates. We got
Yeah, I just,
two companies.
right, I mean, I got two, bids from, licensed, others. And,
Well, that is that. maybe.
Barry, what did the core sample show? Was it,
They never performed, they gave you a quote, quotes,
Yeah, we have to decide. who-
you have to decide how you want to proceed, that it was substantial just to do that.
It's $1,800. Well, the one quote is 18.
okay,
Which one, who was that from?
Davy.
because it's roped off right now.
I think that's because someone's moving or they're doing tree work, I'm sorry, at number 10.
They've got both sides of the street and they said they're gonna be taking that tree down. That's why I thought something
I
had
don't know.
been,
I think I think it's number 10, the first house right after the Amstel house. I think it's, yeah, just unless I can be wrong. But apparently there's overgrown trees and bushes and brush on that property. And the gentleman who owned that filed a complaint to have it trimmed. And then someone went in there to trim it back. I don't believe it's to cut that tree. No decisions were made by anyone.
Okay.
Not throughout.
but that's what the
Yeah, no, no,
city
that's
worker
nothing-
said.
It has nothing to do with, that's my knowledge. It has nothing to do with the tree that you
Okay,
wanted the core sample from.
yeah,
I guess it's the neighbor on East Fourth Street that's complaining about the overgrown trees, brush and bushes that are on his property.
from the Amstel house,
Yes.
his property,
Right,
okay,
and I think they contracted with Bartlett, the Amstel house or whoever's responsible to have someone come out there and trim that portion that's hanging on the neighbor's property.
okay. Well, hopefully they. Obviously, that's what the city guy said, they were taking it down.
Well, not,
I'll double check.
yeah, that did not.
Then
we
no
didn't
one
approve
ordered
it.
it, I mean, unless
Yeah,
unless you guys have ordered it.
No.
No one gave them any authority.
No, that would-
Take it straight.
You're here, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You did-
no,
All right, so we have the two core samples. And we have to decide which company we want to go ahead and do the core sample if we still want to go through with that, correct? Both are very reliable tree companies. I've seen their trucks in town from either company. So I tend to go with the 1,249 as opposed to the 1,800.
Yeah.
It's Bartlett.
they're competent, they're,
Yeah,
Yeah. So they've been,
so it's gonna get a motion.
make a motion that we go with Bartlett. Of course.
What second? Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so approved. So we've approved this. Vireo, you will contact them? Thank you.
Well, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, if you're having loud saws next couple of days, run out and stop them.
I will.
All right, so this.
I heard some loud saws, but they were sawing up Harmony. They're out the street.
All right, so moving right along. Application 2023-12, Jason and Leslie Mellinger, removal of tree. Have any of you folks gone out and looked at that?
I did.
Is this the
Oh,
one?
you're in question, yeah. It's a,
The big one back in the corner, right?
Yes, it's the one closest to his house.
what type of tree? Is that a Zelkova? Yeah.
And he wanted us to look at all of them. The one that's closest to his house. My fear, did you look at it, Norm? No. If we do prune it, it's gonna misshape the tree away from the wires in his house. Somebody's already been pruning on it. So there's some,
Yeah, there's photos on it.
yeah,
Problem is that it's a healthy tree. I mean, I hate to, and it's not something that, in my opinion, that is gonna die in the near future.
You think it could be trimmed?
I thought when I was out there, it looked like if we trimmed it right, it would be okay. But not only my opinion, and I haven't seen it. I think I looked at it like a year and a half ago.
well,
I've seen it recently.
I was looking- they're pretty big branches that you would have to prune back. To actually get it away from the wires and the. But I think the other three that are there are healthy. If you took this one out, you
You-
still have
you
a
would
nice
need-
canopy there to solve his problem. Those years of. When you say
Now, is that on his property or?
it's on city's property. But you see, there's been some damage already done to it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's already been. You wanna look at this, Norm?
Yeah, sure. We have, we would need MSC approval for that as well, correct?
There's the
It's-
bench.
It's right on, I mean, the wires are going right
We're
through.
talking about 148.
Yes.
Yes,
So it's just a service line to the house. Yeah,
Yeah, the wires are going to
they already took half of the tree out at one point, or the canopy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very lopsided, I mean, that's what, even if you just did that, it's still. It's gonna be lopsided. Right, there's not gonna be much of a tree left.
Well, if that's the situation, then I guess we really need to consider taking it down.
Yeah.
Because, when I looked at it, it's been a while, but when I looked at it, if we trimmed it up. And, like we trimmed up those trees with the wire problems before. And it's not gonna be perfect today, but in a year or two, and actually I was by there and it looks a lot better. They look a lot better in a year or two. But if that one's that torn up at the bottom, then maybe a whole different story.
Yeah, did you see that? I don't know who's been pruning it, but.
Probably to make it look worse.
You don't know. They're not a certified arborist, but
What your opinion is that we need to remove it?
I would. My opinion would take this one out, but leave the three, and you still have a nice healthy tree. Line there, and. It didn't look like
This is the one that's put nearest to his house.
yeah. So misshapen already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna decline. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's already been hacked back.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna just.
Well,
It's
the
a
problem,
service line to the house, you're just
Yeah,
gonna have to cut
somebody-
more off.
and then it'll be.
It'll be lopsided.
Be,
Likely to go that
And it's
way.
gonna be a continuing, every couple of years, but they still have to trim that.
Well, do we need to get a price on that?
I think it's small enough, I think
No,
you guys can take it.
if you vote to remove it.
yeah,
I'll make a motion to remove it.
Yeah, I second that.
right. All in favor?
Aye.
So approved. Approved for removal.
Which one was that? 12?
That was, 2212. Somebody want to contact the managers about that?
I can do that. We have a number for him.
He was here, and he was at our last meeting.
Now, the other trees look perfectly healthy. No one's been,
Okay,
Is that included in? It's not included in this. I think this is just for the one. Oh, yeah, the phone number is right there.
oh. Is it in the,
It's on the application.
Um, What? We okay to move on?
Yeah.
2023-14. I believe that tree was removed.
Yep.
But 207,
That was.
that's done. All right, number 4, application 2023-15. Tree pruning request. Has anybody gone out and looked at that one? I went out and looked at it. It's a 166 East Third. Tree's already been pruned. The lower levels have been pruned.
right,
Looks like multiple times. The complaint is that it's dropping sap on the vehicle. Hard to keep the car clean. But when I looked at it, it didn't look like it was interfering with any of the lines. And
Okay.
looked like a healthy tree.
honestly, I had a couple of people that, you know, had the same complaint about the stuff getting on their car. And I, you know, it just doesn't, you know, if the tree's healthy, you can't, you know, they just have to wash it. It's not, you know, take it and get it washed. We can't. shut a
Further up or
tree.
further down.
Yeah,
and it's only a certain time of year they really sap.
Right.
Spring is when I noticed that.
They were particularly sappy this
There
year.
were, I noticed that too.
I have a big white pine that's just covering my yard, so. So, someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Someone second? And we're making a
What
motion
is your
to deny the request.
Deny it.
And second,
I second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Approved to deny, I'm sorry.
You want me to call them too?
Sure.
What was that?
80 Roads, 166 East. It's third, phone numbers here. It's mine.
Yes.
All right, moving on to number 5. Application 2023-16, Kathy Walsh, tree trimming request. The tree branches are hitting her windows, hitting her house in the wind. I went out and looked at those, the trees are definitely hanging over the house.
Yes.
And there seems to be wires intertwined as well.
That wall you're talking
And this is 172 East Fourth.
Yes. Watch.
But it looks like it would be a tree that we could trim.
Just the picture.
Trim back away from the,
Yeah,
think I-
from the structure.
trim it back away from the house.
I think I looked at that before.
And she's just asking for it to be pruned or trimmed. So, I think reasonable request.
If I may add, that this is, the trees that are at the foot of, East Fourth Street. There's actually 2 or 3 trees there. I'm not sure what the address is.
It's 170. Oh, I know what you mean. There's a big elm tree there as
There's a
well.
Yeah, 2 or 3, and I think there was prior application a while back.
Yeah,
I think Norm, we may have gone out there, that was the one where the roots are all exposed,
Yeah.
sidewalk.
I think that's one of the ones I took a picture of.
Yeah.
When I was
So if you
in,
do one, I guess what I'm getting at is you may want to, take a look at all 2 or 3 of those trees, because they're huge.
Yeah, they are.
So that they may be affecting all 3 properties.
So in order to do that, should we need to find the old applications?
I don't know that you need to,
Okay.
I mean, you can, I think that we'll go back after, again, with your supervision, if the proposal is to trim them. And we'll see what we can do, I don't know if.
And
our guys
that's-
can do that, they may be Walsh too far, but.
They're pretty, and there are wires as well. So maybe we should have it, checked out. Do we need to get an estimate for that? All right, that would be my suggestion. I will make a motion that we have somebody come out and give us a estimate of what it would cost to have those trees trimmed near.
Well, initially, what I'll do is I'll have our guys go ahead and take a look at it and see if it's something that can be done in-house.
All right,
if you need me to meet them out there, I'll be happy to do that.
Sure, I'll let you know, and then if need be, then I'll reach out to get, a couple of quotes.
so the city will evaluate. So, do we need a motion for that? Motion to have the city evaluate?
I wouldn't think so.
You think? Well, make it,
It's
all
on, it's
Okay.
on your list, right, for, yeah.
right, so we're good. All right, so then we're up to, yeah, so there's a tree removal. This is in 130 East Fourth. The roots are in the sidewalk, trees in the wires. Relatively young tree. Looks like from the photo. So this is 130 East Fourth. Doesn't look very old. What do you think, Norm? Do you see a quick photo of that?
Yes.
That's
Really,
kind of
really young.
green.
Not much of the tree pit. Yeah, that's tiny.
Well, maybe that's the issue.
Yeah.
Part of it. His complaint is about the roots in the sidewalk, tree removal. Well, he also complained about the wires, so. But expanding the tree pit may solve the root issue.
You know what kind of tree they
Right now, the wires. are-
Yeah, I don't. Hard to tell if they're doing that, but I don't think that's something that needs to be
Not this year.
a couple of years. I would recommend getting a bigger tree pit there.
Do you see that?
Norm, can you see for sure what kind of tree that is? Is that a willow oak?
Hard to tell.
Yeah.
But the small, not a smaller blending it.
If I can. You talking about this one?
Yeah, this one.
I don't know if
I
my,
can't tell from the. I mean, the-
Yeah, you have to be able to see the.
sometimes
I
this
can
thing
go.
will,
What's the address of this one?
This is 130
130 East Fourth,
4th Street.
East
Kitchen.
Fourth.
East.
Take a look on the way out.
All right, so, I would suggest that we, hold off on this one and go look at it. Make it, have Norman look at it, evaluate but we could actually, suggest that we have the tree pit expanded. So I would make a motion that we have this tree, evaluated and we ask to have the tree pit expanded.
I second.
Second,
I,
all in favor?
I,
Somebody. All right, so our problem is our tree pit expander, is a little laid up, so I don't know. I know that he has, a couple people training to help out with that.
Well, they've got an auger. Break it up. That needs to happen.
Look at that.
I mean, it could be also, you don't know what's in there as far as, soil. Because we had trouble with a couple of them that the soil was all clay and nothing wasn't growing. I'll check that out.
Okay, moving on. Application 2023-19, tree removal request. The tree is at 23 East Fifth Street.
Is that 2023-15?
It is 23 East Fifth Street.
19.
Yeah. Um, I've been through there, I walk through there all the time, that tree is growing right up into the wires, and the sidewalk is definitely affecting. But it's not that old a tree.
No,
I believe it's a cherry tree,
I think, yeah, it is. I think it is very.
one of the cherry trees. Has anybody else seen it, gone out and looked at that?
a while ago. The wire issue was there. But it's growing more wide than it is up.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, trimming it for the wires is gonna. We're definitely gonna miss shaping it.
Yeah,
Well, again, though, when we trimmed the other one, this year, this is a year later and it's already starting to look better. Just a matter-
So you wanna make a motion that we trim it and not, take it out?
Well, you know what? Why don't I've got a few to do tomorrow. I'll go take a look at it.
All right, so we'll hold this off to, next month. And we'll go look at it.
and, the bricks.
Yeah, the bricks are, see how bad they are. All right, we're up to number 8, application 2023-20, Edith Brown, new tree request. Oh, now, this is the one. So 205 Chestnut. So that's where all the new bricks were put in. I believe that's there was a. I thought there was a photo on that somewhere. There's a letter that comes with this. There's a large hole in front of our house from where the tree. The tree was taken out. I think it was a cherry. And those cherries down there too. And then he would like a new fruit.
Well, that brick is also in bad shape.
Well, that's all been redone. That's why I'm curious as to what, did they cover up the tree pit?
That I'm not sure of, but I know that at the last meeting that we talked about, Ron, I think he was talking about replacing or putting a tree there.
Yeah,
Or maybe, I think the concern the second time
Is
around
that the
was
picture or?
the brick. You know,
Yeah.
the brick, there's a picture attached to it.
yeah, I lost my picture.
But that's all.
Other than- Yeah, this is,
Farm, is that the picture?
Yeah, this is what it did
That was
look
the
like,
old one.
but I believe they fixed that.
That's all been redone.
Do you know who did that?
I wanna say the road crew that was sending in,
Oh, yeah.
either BPNL or whatever, a chop tank. one of the-
So maybe we need to contact, well, she definitely wants a tree. So we can, I know that Ron has talked about that, so let's approve for a new tree being planted.
We want to offer her the, new deal.
The new deal.
Yeah, buy one and
Oh, yeah,
get one.
you want to be the salesperson.
No problem. I got a day full tomorrow anyway.
Give it a shot. Give it a shot.
All right, but at least, let's make a motion to approve a new tree for Edith Brown.
Okay.
Second. Okay, sorry.
No, that's okay.
All in favor?
Seconds. Aye.
All right. So approved. I think you're a new tree, and again, it will be. We will have to talk to our tree planters about when the best time for those trees.
Yeah, decide what we're gonna put there too.
Yeah. All right, application. This one. Application 2023-21. Tree removal request, and this is on Clayton Street. It's a big tree. Doesn't say why she wants it taken down. Oh, here it is. Part of the tree broke and landed in the road. The rest is currently in the neighbor's driveway. Tree is old and dead. Sounds bad. All right.
That's around this one?
That's it.
No, that's the other one.
The tree is old and dead.
Doesn't look dead.
Doesn't look old. That's just an old photo.
What's the, is it?
912 Clayton Street.
Oh,
It's old and dead. Looks like city property. Have you seen the photo?
I was at there, I think there's,
Is it old and dead?
I don't know, it's old, I don't know that dead, but there were some dead branches and, dangerous and.
We need to get an estimate on that, or is that something your guys can look
If
at?
you determine it needs to come out, we'll have the city guys go take a look at it and proceed, but if they can't do it, then we'll have to go outside.
all right, I'll go look at that one too tomorrow.
Can it be,
You wanna hold on that for next month? That way you're
can
secure.
it be dead wooded or can some of the dead branches be pruned out of it?
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
If we can prune it now, I mean, depending,
All right, well, Scott will go look at it. And then. We'll hold off approval for anything until next month.
yeah.
Then.
Which is the tree?
It's right here.
That's the pictures out from there.
It's all the same tree, I believe. All right, number 10. Mr. Gillespie is requesting a new tree. No,
He
tree
does not
removal.
want a tree.
What's that?
He does not want a new one.
She does not
No
want a new tree.
replacement, just that one removed.
No, I drove by there, that tree is gone.
It was removed.
It was removed.
It was on the list.
Okay. All right, so tree removal request has been, taken care of.
But this is one of the areas that we talked about for improving the canopy.
Yeah.
So perhaps we don't have to put one in front of his house, but it is pretty naked down that street.
Yeah, that's on the, we're calling that the, our
Side extensions to the
west,
gateway.
west side,
Side
project,
improvement.
west side improvement, yeah. All right, so number 10,
One second, well,
yeah,
these are from what house?
that's the
Clayton?
house that you're gonna look at on Clayton Street,
Like,
912.
okay. So this one is 22. That's the one. that's-
Yeah, we're on 22, and that is,
The tree's gone and he does not want a new one.
yeah, so.
So maybe we can
There's no-
avoid his spot when we put trees in.
So we just make a note,
Is that their decision?
I think we should honor their request.
If we can, yeah. We probably, I mean, we could probably go on either side.
Yeah, I think we could
It's pretty,
move away enough that.
pretty empty.
All right. Ready to move on?
Yeah.
Number 11, application 2023-23, and that's Mr. Bless. Application,
I'm going there to.
yeah, we've already decided you're gonna have, somebody's coming out to meet with you tomorrow, so. We will, we'll have that happen and we'll push it up to the October meeting for a decision.
I appreciate it, thank you. You have my phone number, want to give me, make sure I'm home when you.
Yeah, hold on a second.
It's on this paper,
Okay, good, yeah, I just want to make sure you have the.
302-354-5543.
You have a photograph of the tree?
Yeah,
Familiar?
I can't see from here.
I can't see it from here either, you know. That's it, right?
all right, ready to move on?
Yep.
Okay. Number 12, is 2023-24, and it's a pruning permit request. All right, so this, to me, I'm not sure about where the city and the trustees, is this trustee property?
I'm gonna say it's trustees probably, I'll confirm that.
Because it's, I believe it's city property, correct? All right, so we have to confirm where that tree sits. I think it's on the trustees' property.
Battery work.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know where that tree is, and I really. She's asking for the trim, right?
It looks. Just, it looks like she just
Well, we're
moved
going
up so you can walk under it, so not much.
She said it's a ginkgo, so.
It does,
Yeah, it's a ginkgo,
that is a good.
yeah.
All right, so, we need to first find out whose property it's on.
Well. I think that's. Like somebody said, it looks like it's. For sure on theirs, but.
I don't think.
Trustee
it's-
land.
In the city?
No, not the city. It looks like it's the trustees.
Right.
Is the city, assuming the responsibility of Battery Park? That happened?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Moving
Right, so
on.
we're gonna
We're going to,
find out on
you're just
this
gonna
one
find out whose property it is,
next month.
and so we'll talk to her. All right, number 13. 2023-25. Free removal request. 501 West 11th Street.
Yeah, I've seen this one before.
This request,
Well, no, but I've inspected this tree. I mean, it's been a while. I'm gonna say it was
is
3
it on
years.
city property?
It's on the.
It's on the trail.
Trail with the city maintains.
Okay. And she just requesting, can a private citizen request a tree that's not on their property be trimmed?
I guess they can request it, you won't have to approve it.
Good point, Mr. Bless.
They can request anything.
Well, that's true. That's
I mean,
very-
it's,
They're requesting to remove the tree.
Yeah,
It looks like there's vines growing in it, and,
well, there's lots of money.
yeah,
partially dead, branches falling daily.
looks like a
See,
lot.
they said, they said that last time. It really doesn't look partially dead, it just looks
It's,
beat to death.
well, it's being invaded by vines.
Right.
That's gonna
That
kill
will
it
kill it.
eventually.
It looks like a black cherry.
I mean, I'm not sure that it has any benefit to anybody anyway. It's probably gonna be cheaper to just take it out than trim it.
So how's that work? So the Jack Markell Trail is, the city's responsibility only here? Is it only
The whole stretch.
the whole stretch?
Within the boundaries of, the.
So if a tree falls on the trail during a storm, you guys have to go out and
And that's just, it just recently happened.
Yeah,
With this tree or?
No, no.
Okay.
No, I rode through there
Further
recently.
down the trail.
Yeah.
Clear to one side on this complete.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm not sure how we want to move on this one, anybody?
I'll go look at it again.
Yeah,
Take some pictures.
Okay.
can we at least get the vines out of it?
No, we can make a motion for whatever you would like.
Well, I'll let him take a, I'll let Scott, if you wanna look at it, see what you think.
Scott?
try to save it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's worth saving,
just depends on, I mean, there's some bushes there and stuff.
All right, well,
So
Scott
I'll
will
look at it.
evaluate.
Okay, I'll
We'll discuss it in October.
next.
All right. We can move on. Number one, I guess can we request that, have that removed from, because that keeps coming up on our agenda. Number one,
which one?
When you supply the pamphlets.
yeah, that was taken.
Oh, yeah,
care of.
we did that one.
Yeah. That can come on.
So, what do we have to do, Kathy? Just. make
I'll
a-
make a note and pass it along.
Number two, Sheila and I are getting together tomorrow, meeting with Diane Delgado to discuss the submission of the DFS grant. We have everything together. We just have to get it put together in a online form now and send it off. So we're right on time with that. Everything is in, all the ducks are in a row, hopefully. And we'll have that taken care of tomorrow. Number three, Ron has walked around, I don't know, Norman, did you walk around with Ron to look at the trees that have aged out of the watering program?
No.
You were not? I got a note from Ron that he believes there are about 17 trees that we're currently watering that we could take off the watering. Because they've grown, they're old enough to not need to have anything other than what normally nature provides.
We don't need to baby them anymore.
Yeah, so, I'm gonna go walk around with them and I believe, maybe including Rick Delgado. And, so the point is, right now, the city is watering 76 trees, I believe. And that's their capacity, max capacity, and actually, that's with some, help with some volunteers. So if we can take 17 trees off of that, that means then we can look into planting more new trees this fall. So think of it that way, every tree that we can take off, we can plant a new tree somewhere else. So that's gonna be something that would be something we would need to get looking at right now because planting season is coming up. So I will, report on that next month, hopefully, or maybe, I'll have an email out to you guys earlier than that.
Is it possible to get the city to not, I know they don't want to insure it, and I know that they don't want it to be in their name. But I talked to Carl about something. I think for very little money, we could get a cart and get a container. And then we can have any of us could do it.
I think as a proposal, you'd have to send to at least over to Mr. Barthel,
Yeah,
and ultimately probably end up at council.
I've talked to, the big issue is insurance. So if it's something that, is going on and the city is sanctioning, then, to buy a vehicle that's going to water trees for the city, I believe the issue is, somebody has to be either hired by the city and insured by the city to do it. So every time that's come up, it's ultimately comes down to that.
I think we could, it depends on, if you're getting volunteers. I don't know that they would have to insure them. But we could get, I don't think the cost to insure the cart and everything is probably a couple $100 a year, maybe 500. And I just think it would eliminate a whole lot of trouble because every time we turn, the city can only do so much because they've got, especially now they're trying to help us with the trees, cutting the trees and stuff like that. And it would just be easier if we could just have volunteers go out and do it. If I have free time, I'll go out and do it. If you have free time, you could do it. Whoever's free, would be able to do it.
Are you talking about a vehicle that's on the road driving?
It's like a golf cart kind of thing.
Yeah,
And
It's something bigger than a golf cart. That water weighs an awful lot.
Yeah.
You need it.
This is
At least a
electric.
gator.
over 8 pounds a
This is
gallon.
electric.
And how much weight can it carry?
I think, I'll have to look at it again. I think it was like 1,200 pounds. I know,
Filling up the tank an awful
because
lot.
we had those tanks and we did that in the place I worked in Florida. And we had a, so about the size of a golf cart. And we had a trailer and we had, so we did it, and I was there 5 years. So we got it done. But, we'd have to, depending on how much, water is gonna be in there and weight, but I think these new electric, carts. They're strong.
I think the insurance issue would probably be the big problem, and so, like Fury said, it would have to be something that Mr. Bartel would have to sanction and look at.
You would,
And even the city, may even go as far as the city solicitor to make the determination as to, responsibility, what you can and can't do. So, certainly, if it's something that you want to pursue, I would address, or meet with Mr. Barthel, if you haven't already, and, go from there. But
right, the, watering plan we talked about, the city tree inventory has not made any progress on that. We have a look preliminary start on that, but it's not advanced this month, this summer at all. All right, any comments from the commission?
Yeah, I have two things. The oak tree across from Bridgewater's, we had it deadwooded. I don't know if you guys been keeping an eye on it. It's on a decline.
That's the one that I had them take, because there was a big branch came down on, and actually almost hit me.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Behind
where did they took it out the next day?
okay.
On Monday. it was.
I think we need to look at removing that tree. I don't. You deadwooded that one.
Yeah, I thought though, and maybe I need to go back and check my call, but I thought there was a decision made to take, are we talking about the first tree?
No,
or right
across,
before- Across from Bridge, the jewelers.
across from the
The one
jewelers.
that overhangs,
That's the
No,
second
no,
part.
the second,
no,
further back.
the second one.
The second one.
someone's in the backyard of 400.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Uh,
so they
I
did what
thought-
it did
last year.
last fall.
Yeah, and you can see, have you been looking at it too?
Well, I know the one you're talking
Yeah.
about, and I agree with you at this point. It should-
That's a hazard, I think. I think we need to get a.
I want to say though, that there was a decision made.
You're
along
thinking of
the way.
the sycamore that leans over
Right.
to,
Yeah.
that one's been approved to be
It's on the
removed.
list.
To be removed.
That's
be
the one to
removed.
be removed. We have a list to watch trees,
Okay.
and that's an oak that's almost in the yard.
So we're saying the first one goes and then there's a second one.
That,
Yes.
yeah,
On the
in
trouble.
backyard.
You know what, if we're gonna be there,
Let
and
me
if
go
it's
check
in
it.
advance
Yeah.
date, you know, and they're gonna do it, might as well get it done.
We approved to take out the leaning tree.
I think we did.
Oh,
I think Norm recommended, he said it probably should go because it's.
We put it
While I
on
was
the
leaving, I
list.
don't know that it was approved because it was the same time, I looked at it, when I looked with Sheila at looking at the tree across from
Course,
the
yeah,
Ansel
yeah.
house. I don't think,
See, cause I looked at it and didn't think it needed, you're talking about the leaning.
Yeah,
I didn't think it needed it, but then.
I don't think it's been approved
I don't know.
because Ron talked to me several weeks after that
I thought it was.
meeting and
approved.
it hadn't been approved. And we didn't have a meeting in July or in August, so I didn't think that removal had been approved.
I don't either.
Well, I thought.
In your opinion, should it be approved? I mean, cause
Is it
it's,
sycamore?
the oak, I thought you said it.
No, no, we're.
Oh, you're talking
two
about the other
different
one. Okay.
I think the oak is we need to have can we get an estimate of what it would cost to have that removed? Miriam?
The second one, the
The
oak.
oak tree.
Yeah, the oak tree.
I'm sure it's not gonna be cheap.
I thought we approved.
No, Kara, I think we approved trimming it. Because we did discuss it, and I think that's what happened when
And we
you,
did trim it.
we trimmed it, and I think that's what you're remembering. I don't
We
think we
did.
ever talked about taking it down.
Okay.
No, because we wanted to see,
We wanted to see what it was like after it was trimmed.
yeah, and it's still, it's on the decline, yeah, so,
No, I look at that tree every time I walk up that, that's a scary look.
yeah. Yeah, get an estimate.
It's that situation, I think, you know, it's, if you've got two that are near each other, it just makes sense.
Yeah, well, they'll do it cheaper usually,
Yeah.
if they're right there.
But is that sycamore really a concern?
I looked at the roots, it didn't look like it's uprooting or, anything.
Sycamore can grow like that and live forever.
yeah,
I mean,
I'd rather not take it out unless we have.
I don't, yeah, I wouldn't either.
Well, let's put it on the watch list.
I believe it is. I started that,
Yeah,
by the way.
I've looked at it a couple times.
Do you have 2023-10?
No,
Okay, so June 5th. I would show application 2023-10, Sheila Shannon removal and replacement request. North and Delaware, Bridgewater.
it was.
And I have removed.
Yeah, I think it was approved.
I mean, these are my.
It was approved to get the core sample.
No,
That's
no, that's it.
That's there were two
Yeah,
There was two, then
Two
the Angela
applications.
has three.
at the same time too.
Yeah.
I put two applications in at the same time. One
But
for
it's
the
the
second
different
one,
one that's,
yeah,
Yeah,
that you and I looked at.
cause I thought Norm, said it probably should be.
Yeah,
removed.
and-
They all-
so,
And we put it on the list.
right,
Didn't know when it was gonna happen, but
I could be wrong.
No, I think that is what happened, but
I think we were talking about it, but we were,
Debating.
I think the whole thing was kind of combined, because we were waiting to get a price for the core sample. Is what I remember. But
yeah, they're two separate applications.
I know they are.
Yeah. Well, we could refinalize it,
yeah,
a decision on it now and
Yeah.
decide whether we wanna take it down or watch it.
I would move that we put it on our tree for watch list.
yeah, I think we should
Not
watch
take
it and see if we see any uprooting, then we need to act fast, but
Well, I agree, I think it should be on the watch list.
watch this,
I'm fine with
okay.
that.
Now the oak, that we need a.
I'd like to see what it's gonna cost.
Yeah,
Before we just jump at saying. I mean, it should be done.
right, okay. And then another, thing I wanted to bring up, down on, Second Street, 132. When they're paving the road, it looks like the pavers have been trimming our trees to get their equipment in, and it's hard to see. Well, but
Oh,
yeah, so they're taking branches out, but they're not doing proper cuts. And I don't know what we would do with,
We've had a lot of
Guy
tree
that knows my
damage.
yard now, Scott, he says he can't do it anymore, he's got a weed eat it.
what is,
I don't,
so what do we do with these utility companies? You
But I think-
know, commissions,
I mean,
I'm gonna, you know what, I was mowing it before, I'm gonna have to mow it again, because, you know, they won't mow it with a mower. It's gotta, you know, because they only use the riders, whatever. So they say that they usually go just have a weed eat it, but the problem is
Yeah.
that it cuts it too short. and-
what is this? What are
but
we-
yeah,
what are
we're
we
talking about
My
a tree.
yard.
No, we're talking about,
Well, I know, but I'm
Second Street.
saying, now they're getting real picky on what they can and can't do. I mean, they wanna,
Well, these are the people that were,
No, this is the people
Repaving
that
the
pay the
street.
street.
I'm just saying that, the guy who's doing my yard says he can't mow it anymore, he's gotta weed eat it.
Huh.
So, it's, I think that it's getting,
well, the tree, back to the tree, what do we do? I think it's at Del Morvo, no, who was doing the,
So down on Second Street, 132. The people that were paving the street. I guess to get their equipment in, kind of hacked on one of our street trees. And I just, they damaged the tree.
And someone complained about that.
Did
I
they?
think it came in.
Yeah, and
it's bad. Yeah.
what do we do in those situations? Do we charge them to take the tree down and replace it?
Yeah, I mean.
oh yeah, if it's a problem, I don't. You've inspected it, did you get it?
Yeah, I looked at.
Picture.
Pictures
You
of it?
want to see it, Norm? I mean, it's a rip. But they didn't do an undercut, all that,
yeah,
cat's
So
eye
the-
or,
they did that one, that was,
I think that's previous.
Previous.
I don't know who did that, but that's not great either.
Got a lot of tree damage with this project.
Yeah. So I don't know if before they do it, we tell if we can get with the utility companies or whoever, the paving companies, say, do not touch the trees. We have people that do it or.
yeah,
Do we have a contract with them that may cover their butts for any damage? If it does, if they don't, then we should go after them for the damage.
Damage, yeah. So for future reference, I don't know if we wanna.
You probably should, because the house, couple doors down from you, where the gums are,
Yeah.
when they were renovating that, they pruned that tree and, you know, left stubs. It's not damaging the tree, but they didn't need to do it. I mean, it's so young, you could have tied it up.
Right.
Branches would have been on there, but I think you should have something where if somebody,
Well, there's a code violation.
Yeah.
That covers it, you have to have a permit, and of course, you can't touch a city tree without a permit.
But what they're doing, where he's talking about, right by my house, it's, people working on the renovations. And they've damaged all three of those little trees with their trucks. And they just pull their trucks in every day and they, you know, they hit the tree. I drove, go by my house, there's
What property are they working?
49 and 51.
No,
Who's second?
Yes. Yeah, actually, the tree in front of my house has 2 or 3 hanging dead broken branches.
oh,
So they can potentially get fined for doing that, is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, a truck came by, my neighbor's house, that cherry tree you guys trimmed a while back. Took off a big branch right at the center of it.
Pruned by tree truck, or trimmed by moving
Yeah,
truck.
it was pruned by Scott when they got done with it, because it was hanging off.
Well, that's the only things I had on.
You know, maybe we should think about putting that into the contracts that, you know, that anybody who's having any work done, that they have to be responsible for damage on anything. Now, would we have to do that through the city? I guess. You guys, I mean, the contracts come through you, right?
And there may be some, I need to go back and check, with Jeff, who's the manager of the life, pretty much, because of that, but I'm almost sure that if they're on site and they're doing work and they either intentional or unintentional damage,
Yeah.
whatever it is, that hopefully they should be responsible, someone's hurt.
Well, either the contractor or the homeowner.
You know, because it comes out of our budget
Right.
in the end to replace them, so,
And some of these things can be expensive, so
yeah.
we don't want to get in the middle of that.
Another, application 2023-17, Ron Vukolich, tree removal request was a hawthorn over by the post office. Remember that?
Yeah, he said he and John Antonio, when I asked if he needed assistant, he said that John Antonio was gonna remove it and replant it. I don't know if that was done. But it's on the side of, on the Fifth Street side.
Yeah.
That's the one that's right by by Cherry Street.
Yes, on that,
I think that's been done. No, I'm pretty sure I'll go.
No, it's on the side of the post office.
Yeah, no, but it's on Cherry Street in the post office, that back corner.
No, it's right here. It's like Cherry Street's way down over here.
it's in between, it's right at the entrance to the, or the exit to the parking lot, but.
All right, so that's, I will, talk to Ron about that. All right, anybody have anything else?
So just so we're clear, the sycamore by the Bridgewaters, how do we clear that up that we're not gonna remove it? Do we just? put
On the
that in?
tree, we'll make a note, can we make a note in the minutes that the tree on the corner of Fourth and Delaware,
Yep.
Sycamore,
Westport.
West Fourth, is being put on the tree to watch list. And I have started to generate a Excel sheet of trees to watch, so if you think of any, just send me an email, I'll add it on. And the only other thing we need to talk about, or I need to report about, is a 5-year plan. And the first step is basically walking around determining how many trees that we can take off the watering plan. And then once we determine how many we can plant, then we can, you know, we've already scouted out, Scott went out, scouted out some sites, and I know Ron has some ideas, so. Once we know how many trees that we can plant, then we'll move forward on
I
that.
think I ended up with what, 50 or 60 spots that are open now.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I mean, there were like 7 or 8 in a row on one street.
Into part of that, are there any other grants out there that you can apply for tree planting? Because it's not coming out of the city budget to plant trees. It's coming out of a pocket. And it's a lot of money. And when that pocket's gone, I don't know where you're gonna get money to plant street trees.
Well, the city did, they upped our budget from 20 to 25,000 this year. By our,
That's an extra 5.
yeah, and we do have the
You got another.
grant
5.
from the trustees and the grant from DFS.
Right.
So that's another 8,000.
But the city balked at paying any bills for tree planting.
Yeah, that's a complicated subject and.
Well, that's why I wanted to bring it up, so, you know, if there's any other grants somewhere that you could apply for, because the 2 you have now, it's gonna severely limit you on how many trees you can plant.
See, that's why we're trying to get this new program going. If they buy one, we'll give them one free. So that way they get 2 for the price of 1,
Then it's a draw for you.
Yeah, but
but we have 2 trees.
You have 2 trees, but you're still having to pay. You have to buy the trees, you have to have them planted, you have to have them cared for.
and all of that's supposed to come from the city budget.
I know.
And that's why we're trying to, make things more. Going through the steps of making an official application and having the applications approved, and then, the city will pay for it. And then you have your grant money, and then you have your anonymous donors. That will have, historically have helped in the past to pay for these things. So at this
And
point.
then you have Ron.
So anyway, that's how I met with Bill Barthel about this, and this is how he wants us to move forward at this point. So we have to go, anything that, especially a large project like we just did, needs to go through the city budget process. And then if there's other money outside of that, then we can use that, so be it. That money ends up going into the city, eventually anyway. So. Anything else?
Yes. Maybe I should have brought this up earlier, but I thought it was on somewhere in the agenda. 907 Gray Street.
Oh, yeah.
It was supposed to be put back on.
Yeah, I didn't, right, so the story is, he stood up at the city council meeting. And brought up his application came up, I believe, last fall. I'm not sure, do you know the date when it was original? But it doesn't matter. We looked at it. I know Scott went out and we decided that if we started taking those trees down, that whole street is just, we would have to take everybody's tree down. So at that point, the decision was to not remove it.
This is the rose sycamore.
Yeah, it's a rose
Yeah.
sycamores.
We didn't see anything wrong with them and they were
No.
going up above the buildings.
But this gentleman had sewer damage and he had sidewalk damage. So he's still,
So he's in the same situation as the tree on
Delaware Street.
yeah, so, I mean, thank you for bringing that back up. We do need to address it because he's made it an issue with the city publicly. And we should, probably reevaluate the situation. That would be my suggestion.
Well, the problem with that is that. I mean, realistically, he's probably trying to get money for the damage to his sewers and all the other stuff, and that has nothing to do with us. So, right?
I'm not sure. What I would recommend is maybe take a look at it, see if there's any overhanging right on the roof lines, maybe figure out a way to trim them back.
Yeah.
But you're right, there's 5 or 6 large trees at least on it. Substantial, but we're moving, there's no reason to really remove them.
No,
Do you have the application number?
The original one was,
let me just get a copy of that.
you can have, actually, you can have.
Here it is. 2023-02.
Yeah, then well, actually, initially it said 2022-0.
I see that, and then we scratched
went
it
to-
out. And we
Can we make sure that's on our agenda for next week, next month? Or do we wanna do something about it right now?
Well, it's the suggestion from Curio to try to trim them back from the residences.
Right.
And kind of, I guess we could look at that.
Do you wanna just look at it for next month and make sure it's on the agenda for next month?
I think we should go back out.
See,
and
this
look.
is something, these things are something that it looks like we could do.
You trim them away from the,
Just trim away from the house and
Yeah.
realistically, I mean, the way these trees are shaped, it wouldn't be that big of a deal to do. You got, how high is the truck have it you go, years ago, 20 feet or something, 25 feet? And
I remember, Carl, when you looked at them, they weren't hitting the,
No, that's why I think we totally denied the request.
we did,
Well, I'll go look
Yeah.
and see. I mean, it looks like something could be touching the roof over here.
Well, let's just make sure it's on the agenda for next month.
Okay.
We can all go look at it this,
And I'll have the
sometime
answer.
between that. And then. Anything else?
There was I'm not sure who generated this list, maybe it was Ron. But I have a copy of September 11th, 2023 agenda items, things that we need to look at. I don't know if you guys have seen
That was the email.
the email.
Yeah,
There are
You sent
several items.
one,
Yeah, I
and then Ron sent one after that.
yeah. And I didn't print that, so I can't remember what was on that. What's on that email that we didn't talk about?
Well,
What do we miss?
request for 7 trees on Fifth Street between number 27 and 39.
That all has, that was the. Has to be, we have to determine how many trees that we can water. So we can't do anything about that until we know how many trees we can take off the watering
The
plant.
next item is, there's a need to plant 4 trees at the UME property. We recently removed some old cherry trees from that site. Ron reworked the entire sidewalk.
Right. Yeah, that, again, that's up to, the fall
Okay.
planting schedule.
3 trees are requested for West Fourth Street between 55 and 61. Yes, that was,
Yeah.
we talked about that.
These are all, so this is, I'm remembering now, this is Ron's email. Maybe I may have written one that repeated, I had met with Ron. And this is kind of his wish list of items that he wants to do. But we talked about it, when he and I talked about it, we talked about the fact that first step has to be the determining how many trees are coming off the watering plant.
Okay. had the removal of the London plane in front of the booth house and removed the honey locust by 208 Delaware Street.
And I thought that was
There
approved.
was, yeah, I thought
That was approved. What I remember. Look back.
Thought they were gonna take it out, but then something else happened, weren't they? Replant the-
Yeah, the idea is we're gonna take those two trees out,
Completely.
In front of the bank.
one by the bank
Yeah.
and the one by
And
the
the
booth
booth
house.
house, we're gonna dig it up and try to replant it at the.
it's
So that's it.
too big to do that. Well, not too big to do, but it would
Too
be cost
expensive.
prohibitive.
Yeah, no, we couldn't do it there.
Yeah, I thought we had approved that we were gonna take them both down and then they were gonna plant a couple new trees there. I don't remember when that. It may have been May.
That was, I think that was last meeting you requested those.
Did we ever install the Tree City USA sign?
No,
That we discussed placement of the tree, City USA and forward it to the city?
I had discussed it with Bill,
Okay.
but nothing has happened, so I have to, let
We
me,
had two,
we have to,
somewhere, one's been put up somewhere, I think Ron said,
really?
yeah, and I have the other one.
I have not seen them. So let's investigate
I think it
that.
was in yeah. It's something about maybe it's near the, or is there some kind of a marker or something?
They were talking about out by Ferry Cutoff Road. As you come in, there's the brown, the brown signs that say this way to the monument.
Right,
And,
and it's supposed to be apparently near the monument.
so I will go, I will contact Bill to see if.
And I've got the other one as we're ready to do so.
Maybe when we're there tomorrow, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, thank you. That's good. Anything else on that?
No, the other things I think we handled, 148 East Fourth, 166 East Third, 172 East Fourth, and 607 Tremont, that's already cut. I think that's pretty much all of it.
Ron, I guess, was the one who sent, pictures of a moniker that was destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
Was that, does anybody know, was it hit by a car?
Or, so that from the post office?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the one who actually found it. Well, I got a call. Someone backed right into it and get chopped it.
So, was like their insurance and or a new one,
Do
or?
we know who did it? Do we?
Yeah, I don't know if there was a police report, that she left the scene or at least. And she had-
Backing out of the post office or something?
Yes,
Yeah.
I did identify her, so she called MSC after she left and told them and then called the city, but I'm not sure what the status of it.
That's part of the question, when these trees get damaged,
Yeah.
who do we?
Let's put cameras on every corner.
Yeah.
So this one should be easy, so clearly, there should be an action report taken and their insurance company or whoever
Yeah,
should be responsible for that.
So who do we?
That would be a good agenda item.
I sent out her name and address. Also typed in, I sent her an email.
That was one of the first ones. I knew about that file.
Yeah, it was doing well too. One of the,
But the big question is who's responsible for any damage of any of our city trees?
if somebody hits it with a car, it's their responsibility.
Right.
Well, how do we,
The problem is
How
you
do
gotta
we
catch
feel?
them and you gotta be able to prove they did it.
Who do you, get to enforce those
The problem is, most of the people here, if they hit the tree, they're not gonna tell you about it.
Right, but like,
But in this case, we know.
Yeah,
She called it in. I mean, I can certainly check with the police and see if there's an action report taken or what the status of it.
Yeah.
If anything,
For insurance, they're gonna require that.
I don't know if there was any damage to her vehicle. There was, she ran right over me.
Norman,
it
Norman, say that we were able
was a drop kick.
to prove somebody, well, we have the evidence, and what would you put the value of replacing that tree? Well, how much money would that be? Labor, include everything, like,
There's a formula for the value of the tree for insurance purposes. And then, I mean, the tree's done, broken off, but you would have to remove the stump, roots. And then the cost, I mean, it's not hard to figure out.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm just saying, we would have to pursue this, you would have to have some type of official way of proving the value that we're asking. for
Well,
insurance.
there is a set formula. I mean, I've done it for storm damage. There's a formula you use to calculate the value of the tree.
Let's look into that. And then we have to hire tree police. Little green uniform.
Ballards in front of it.
I just can't, I mean.
How about tree monkey?
Build it. We
Let
just
them
stop.
watch it.
But the cars we have now.
No, right in front of the post office, first one. When you go down to the city.
she making a U-turn?
Well, either.
Backing
She might
out,
have pulled
probably.
into their lot.
Yeah, and then
she
tried
backed
to-
out.
Backed out.
I assume that, as I said, she backed into it. Either that or she, if she hit it, she jumped the curb and just went right over top of it.
I can see
There
that.
was two guys working on the house next door, they were painting or doing some work on the top of the porch. That's what they said that she, was.
Here, nothing surprises me. On our street alone, that I know of, we've lost like 12 mirrors to cars.
Oh, yeah.
We had a guy coming down the street and he was, just moving along and just out of nowhere, turned right into a car and then went across the street into a car. They just can't drive it, so.
Anybody, anything else for the,
That's it.
good of the tree commission? I make
You have a few minutes.
a motion that we adjourn.
Second,
All in favor?
I
aye.
All right, good.
couldn't get it out.
No.